Hello, and welcome to yet another Authors of the Past. I'm Danny Willard, your host, and today we will learn about two different authors, one being Yann Martel and the other Eric Remarque.
Yann Martel was born in Salamanca, Spain on June 25, 1963. Luckily, he had two parents who hailed from Canada, both Emile and Nicole Martel. Growing up, Yann was raised in Spain, as well as Canada. Although this is where he spent the majority of his childhood, he also spent some time being raised in other Spanish-speaking countries. Throughout his early years, Yann had a very curious mind, and he would explore his surroundings and enjoy numerous adventures. He attended college at Trinity College School in Ontario, Canada, and later he finished his degree at Trent University. Trent University was the last part of his formal education. His inspiration for his writing comes in the form of Yann's travels. One of his favorite places to visit was India, because he claims it is another stint to shake me and dazzle me. This is a quote from him, of course. The people and the diverse culture of India was a gold mine for ideas in Yann's writing. India left such a mark on Yann Martel that he incorporated many of these things in his stories. The people he saw, the personalities of the people he met, all went into his book, Life of Pi. Life of Pi, certainly one of Yann Martel's most legendary works, is about a breathtaking and awe-inspiring story of a boy named Pi. Pi, Piscine Molitor, lives in India. He is the key protagonist in this story. Piscine was named after a swimming pool, but after being teased by his classmates, he decided to go by the irrational number pi. Growing up, Pi learned how to become a good swimmer as well as an excellent scholar. He receives an informal education about animals from spending long hours in his home in a zoo which his father owns. Conflict arises when his father sells the zoo and decides to move his family to Canada to give his children a better life with more opportunities. Due to the need to transport many zoo animals across the ocean, the family had to travel on a cargo ship. Halfway through the journey, however, a terrible storm hits. The ship sinks. However, Pi managed to escape on a spare life raft. He was the only member of his family to survive. Without thinking, Pi irrationally allows a Bengal tiger to hitch a ride on the same life raft he survived on. Pi must now survive in the ocean with not only limited supplies, but also with a 500-pound carnivorous cat. After an impossibly long time, Pi reaches salvation when he hits the shore in Mexico. Critics raved about the originality and creativity of Life of Pi. The New York Times gives it a 4 out of 5, claiming that it is truly a book worth reading. Life of Pi accumulated a plethora of awards, including, but not limited to, Britain's Man Booker Award in 2002, the Journey Prize for the Best Short Story in Canada, as well as the 2001 Hugh McLennan Prize of Fiction. In addition to writing numerous awards, Life of Pi was made into a movie, directed by Ang Lee in 2012. The relevance of Life of Pi in today's society is found in its universal themes: religion, the will to live, and the sparkling of imagination. The story provides not only entertainment value, but it also gives the readers a lesson in critical thinking. The story is timeless and could have taken place in the past, present, or in the future. Yann Martel's legacy as an author includes several other contributions. He wrote the We Ate the Children, Last stories of 2004, Beatrice and Virgil in 2010. He also wrote Letters to the Prime Minister of Canada, which were later compiled and put into a novel.
As Martel is a well-known author today, Remarque is another great author who lived through World War I and II.
Eric Remarque, he was born on June 22, 1989, in an ancient city known as Osbernuc. His parents originally named him Eric Paul Remarque, but he later changed his name Eric Remarque because of his French origins that he really wanted to have pride in, and because of his mother's death later on in his lifetime. Eric's parents, Peter and Anna Remarque, both descended from earlier ancestors that were Franco-German craftsmen. Eric's father, Peter, was a book printer and a binder who made very little money, and because of this, they moved a lot in Osnabrück, trying to find lower rent houses that they could afford over time. Most of his childhood interests were eventually inspired in his later novels, such as the piano and his stamp collections. When Eric became great at playing the piano, he then became a piano teacher to get pocket money, which he later foreshadows he uses pocket money to help him earn a prize-winning essay in 1916, his first award in writing. Eric was educated in the Catholic school of Osnabrück in 1904 to 1912, which was very rare as there were very few upward mobility working-class children that were knowledgeable such as himself. At the age of 14, there were no other advanced schoolings that he could go to except for the inexpensive Catholic Preparatory University of Münster, where he decided to study at becoming an elementary school teacher. Sadly, in November of 1916, Eric had to stop his studies as he was drafted into the First World War, a later inspiration from his future writings, such as one of his few books many people may know of was All Quiet on the Western Front. When drafted into the First World War, Eric, as well as a few other Osnabrücks, were instructed to guard a reserve division behind the Arras front in the northwest of France. 1 year after Eric was drafted, he found a wounded comrade, shot by a shell fragment, and carried him back to safety. But sadly, he found the wounded comrade was never able to survive the bullet wound. This event was later written in his book, All Quiet on the Western Front, as well. In 1920, he decided to write and publish his first novel, The Dream Room, which mortified him from teaching. So once leaving his teaching career behind, he then began other jobs such as being a playwright, sports editor, and even a drama critic. All those jobs he soon began to love and were all related to writing, which sparked his writing career. Finally, after 9 years of publishing his first novel, Eric published his second novel, All Quiet on the Western Front, which became a worldwide success in 1929. It was about a young adult named Paul Brommer as he describes his life on the front and how it changed his life over time. Remarque had explained that the theme to this book, as well as all the rest of his books, was about dislocations through political and military events of the 20th century for young men of the lost generation that lost connections to its youth and society as a whole. Reading this book gives the reader a breakdown of the Western civilization and the order that World War I brought to the surface of European minds. It's much more than just a fictional novel, as it gives the reader insight on what was going on and what was it like during World War I. Eric Remarque also wrote many books such as The Three Comrades, The Night in Libsyn, Shadows in Paradise, Arc of the Triumph, and The Road Back. Remarque is important to the literary genre because of his historical events that took place in his novels, as most of them actually happened during his lifetime in the 1900s. He gave an insight in the World War that was a realistic description of combat and suffering and deaths of soldiers, suffused by the measure of pathos. Several awards he got was the Treaty Order of Merit in Federal Republic of Germany, and had an Institute University of New York founded after him. The long-lasting influence he gave was based on what Barker and Lass had said, the way in which he has charted the history of young men, alienated not only from the past and present, but also from their own true selves.
You have been watching Authors from the Past. Stay tuned till next week to find out more about these amazing authors.